afternoon, everyone. Let me ask you a simple question. If somebody invited you to their 250th birthday party, would you spend the entire evening telling them everything that's wrong with them? Probably not. But that's essentially what the New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani did on the eve of America's 250th birthday. Standing before 8 newly naturalized American citizens, Mayor Mamdani had an opportunity that comes once in a lifetime. He could have spoke about freedom, opportunity, self-government, the Constitution, the Bills of Rights, the remarkable idea of ordinary people, not kings or dictators, hold ultimate political power. Instead, he delivered a speech centered on inequality, capitalism, immigration enforcement, and what he called as an arena of supremacy. If there was ever a moment to celebrate America's achievements, that was it. Instead, it sounded like a lecture at a political science seminar. Now, let's be fair. Every nation has its flaws. America certainly does. We've made mistakes. We corrected many of them. We're still working on others. That's part of American story. But there is a profound difference between saying our country isn't perfect and suggesting America's defining characteristics is oppression. Those are two very different messages. And here's the irony it becomes impossible to ignore. Mayor Mamdani's own life story is one of the strongest arguments for Americans' opportunity. He came to the United States as a child. He became a naturalized citizen in 2018. Within less than a decade, he rose through public life to become the elected mayor of America's largest city. Think about that for a moment. Millions of people around the world can only dream of that kind of upward mobility. This isn't a footnote, that's a headline. If somebody can immigrate to the United States, become a citizen, run for office, persuade millions of voters, and become mayor of New York City, that says something extraordinary about this country. It's difficult to argue that America permanently locks people out when your own career demonstrates the opposite. During his remark, Mayor Mamdani criticized immense wealth and warned about concentrated economic power. Reasonable people can debate economic policy. Reasonable people can debate tax rates. Reasonable people can debate corporate influence. That's politics. But there is another side of the story. America's economy has produced innovations that transformed medicine, transportation, communication, agriculture, computing, and space exploration. The same economic system that created billionaires has also created millions of small businesses, countless innovations, and opportunities for families who started with little. Success should be examined, power should be questioned, but success alone should not be treated as evidence that the system has failed. Then came his comment about immigration and enforcement. Mayor Mamdani described federal immigration agents in deeply critical terms and portrayed immigration enforcement as fundamentally incapable with American ideals. Again, reasonable people can disagree about immigration policy. That's healthy. But America has always been both a nation of immigrants and a nation of law. Those two ideas have coexisted since the founding of the Republic. One does not erase the other. The difficult work of public policy is balancing compassion with the rule of law, not pretending one value automatically cancels the other. Perhaps the most striking image of the speech was the group standing behind him, the 8 new American citizens, those men and women who just completed a long legal process to become citizens of the United States. What an incredible milestone. Imagine being in their shoes after years of paperwork, interviews, examinations, waiting, commitment, and you finally raise your hand, take that oath, and officially become American. What message should you be greeted with? That the nation has endured because generations defended liberty, that citizenship carries both rights and responsibility, that free speech allows disagreement, but democratic institution allows peaceful change, that America isn't perfect, but it's a place where reform happens throughout ballots rather than bullets. Those are powerful ideas. Instead, the spotlight shifted to a broader political argument about America has done wrong. That was a choice. Mayor Mamdani also challenged the idea of American exceptionalism. Let's talk about that phrase. Some hear it and imagine arrogance. Others hear it and think responsibility. American exceptionalism doesn't have to mean Americans are better than everyone else. It can simply mean our constitutional system is unusual. Where else can people criticize the government every day without fear of imprisonment? Where else can political power regularly change hands throughout elections rather than revolutions? Where else can people arrive from every corner of the globe and apprised of public office? Those aren't guarantees of perfection. They're an example of a system that endures and adopted for 250 years. One point from the mayor's speech deserves agreement. He said patriotism includes dissent. He's right. The freedom to criticize government is one of America's defining strengths. The founders themselves argued fiercely. The Constitution was debated. Laws have been challenged. Movements have changed the nation. Dissent has always been a part of American experience, but patriotism is more than criticism. It's about gratitude. Gratitude for those who preserve the institution that makes peaceful disagreement possible. Gratitude for the generations who expanded liberty over time. Gratitude for the freedom many people elsewhere still seek. To my fellow members of Gen Z, I want to leave this with you. Our generation hears a lot about decline. We hear America is broken, that our institutions are hopeless, that the best days are behind us. History tells more complicated stories. We inherited a nation that survived civil war, depression, world wars, terrorism, pandemic, countless political crises. Each generation confronts problems that look overwhelming in the moment. Yet the country endures because Americans argue, vote, build, serve, invent, and keep improving what we inherited. That works now belongs to us. Love your country doesn't require pretending it's flawless. Criticizing your country doesn't require pretending its achievement doesn't matter. The challenge is to do both honestly. Our America's 250th birthday, many people hope to hear speeches that reflect on how far this nation has come and how much promise still holds. Mayor Mamdani chose a different emphasis. That's protected by the very freedom America guarantees. But there is another story worth telling, a story about constitutional government, opportunity, citizenship, freedom of concise, the rule of law, a country where a child who arrived from another nation could grow up and become the mayor of New York City. If that isn't part of American history, I don't know what is. I'm Haylee Ficuciello, senior correspondent for Englebrook Independent News. Have a good evening.